Hey everybody, Brandon here from CAD Intentions, and in today's video I'm going to show you how you can easily speed up your design process, produce photorealistic renders, and save money by using Onshape's Render Studio. Not only are you going to be able to impress clients and customers with easy and quick photorealistic renders of your objects, but you're also going to be able to mock up designs and see how they're going to look in the real world, including lighting and custom environments surrounding your objects. There's a ton you can do within the built-in Render Studio, and it's all browser based. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this. Let's take a look at what's possible with the Onshape Render Studio. But before we jump in, I wanted to say thank you to Onshape for sponsoring today's video, along with this entire Onshape series, where we've taken a look at the setup and getting started all the way through to basic modeling, like the one we did in the last video. And now we're going to take a look at finishing those models with a render through the studio. All right, now let's get going. I think you guys are going to enjoy this. As you saw in the intro in some of those images, Onshape has a built-in Render Studio that's capable of producing high quality and photorealistic images from the parts you model within it. Everything from custom scenes and environments to various textures that are all built into the library, and you have the ability to import your own environments, whether that's a high-def image of an office desk or room or an outdoor setting to place your larger objects in. You have a lot of customization and ability built right in to your browser. Now, that's probably the biggest benefit I've found of the Onshape Render Studio, is that it's entirely browser-based, running off of NVIDIA's iRay technology. This is going to save you money and time, since you don't need a third-party or secondary rendering software once you've finished your modeling. And it's all browser-based, so you're not going to need high-end GPUs or hardware to run it. This is all done through the cloud on Onshape servers, so as you're rendering and designing within the software, all of that processing power is being offloaded or outsourced to the cloud. This allows you to easily and quickly mock up projects and parts within Onshape and then instantly do a render and share this new project. This is going to speed up your design process, letting you show concepts and mock-ups to your clients or customers or a manager quickly and easily. These can be shared with a simple link, or you can save them to your desktop as an image. Now, this is just an intro and a few of the main features. If you'd like to learn more, I'll put a link down below to some of Onshape's videos about the Render Studio. But for now, we're going to jump into the model that I did last week, and we're going to quickly show you how this kind of works and how it's laid out within the software. So you can see we've got my giant mug model open up. This is an assembly containing my two parts, which are the handle and the mug base. Now, this was modeled after a mug that's sitting on my desk. If you check out that video from last week, which I'll put in the description down below, you can see how we made this and kind of that step-by-step process. But for now, we're going to take this and put it into the Render Studio to see kind of how the materials and environments work and just kind of touch on what you can do within this software. Now, down on the bottom here, you can see we have our part studio where we modeled our part using the tools available and sketching these in as we went. Once finished, you can then create an assembly, bringing in any of the parts that you've modeled and assembling them within this window. Now we're going to hit this plus sign here and create a Render Studio tab. This is going to bring in all of the rendering options and tools. So you can see here, we've got none created yet. We're going to hit create to create a new Render Studio, and you're going to choose your part. Now we've got ours right here. Now under new scene, you can choose the quality. We're going to go with fine, which would be a high quality render, and hit create. This is going to take a couple seconds while it populates all of your tools and a library of built-in environments and appearances. You can see it's already loaded up now, which didn't take long at all. Now we have along the bottom here the main window where you're going to be able to find all of the different appearances and textures for our object. You can see we're going to just kind of spin our mug around so we get a good view of it. And now we can choose an appearance. So if you hit the drop down here on the library, you'll see the different categories. You can also filter and look things up. Now, since this is a mug, we may be looking for like a ceramic or a porcelain. So if we just start typing in what we're looking for, you can see it's going to autofill and find all of the different appearances that are available that match your filter. For our case, we can choose a porcelain. We could get something creative like some of these weirder patterns here, and you simply drag and drop it onto your part. Now you can see here some of the options. Now if you hold Alt while you drag it, it's going to automatically assign it to your part, or you can assign it to a face with holding Alt and Shift. Now a face would be like the flat face or front face of an object. In our case, we want to assign it to the entire part, and we have two parts here. So we're going to assign it to this part, and then we're going to drag and hold Alt and assign it to our handle part. You can see it increase in detail as time progresses and as the part renders in. Now, if we would like to fine tune or modify the appearance we've chosen, you can simply choose the part and choose the appearance tab over here on the right. From here, you can change things like the scale, translation, which would be shifting, your primary color, the grout color. Every material is going to have a variety of options and customization available to it in the appearance tab here. So in our case, maybe we want to scale this down. So we could choose a scale here in the X of say 0.2 and in the Y of 0.2. So that's going to shrink down the scale of this image, and you can see a little bit more details start to come out. Now we could do this even further down, so let's half that to 0.1, and you can see a little bit more detail start to come out, which is kind of cool. So if you're happy with how your object is looking, you can move on to setting up your camera and scene a little bit more, or if you'd simply like to try some more out, you can. Let's scroll down here, and maybe we find one with a cool pattern here. This is a floral with a blue and silver color scheme. So we're going to put that onto both of ours. Now you can see that change the look, and I can already tell I want to change up the scale, I think. So I'm going to select my part. I'm going to go to appearance, and then down here we're going to change our scale once again. We want to shrink this down, so let's try 0.2 and 0.2. I think that will look pretty good. You can see there, that's a pretty cool pattern we've got on the mug. And then you can also change up any of the colors, your reflectivity, scaling, translation if you want to shift the pattern around, rotation as well. You get it. There's a ton of appearance and customization options available to you. Now, once we've got our object kind of set up the way we would like, we can move on to adjusting various options of our scene, including different rotations, orientation. You can also simply move your object around in here. Scrolling down, you can find a handful of helpful different options that you can tweak for the general scene. And then moving up to the top here, you've got some basic tools, including adding ground shadows and a background. You can change up the location and time, so that'll affect your lighting. And then you have the option to render to Onshape or render to your hard disk. Now down here under camera settings, if you tend to use and like cameras quite a bit, a lot of these settings are going to seem familiar to you. You're going to be able to customize like a photographer would for taking product shots, everything from f-stop to saturation. You're going to be able to adjust it through this camera setting menu. Now, let's say we want to add our background. We can go up to the top here and simply choose a color. If we want to do something kind of like a bit of a grayish color to give it some character here, we can do that. You can change up the whether or not the ground is going to be enabled, which you can see affects how the shadows are displayed, and you can also change up the positioning of your ground surface. Now this alone wouldn't be too bad as it is for a easy and quick product render and product shot. you can pan around. You can easily export this as is and send it off to your client just to get an idea if, say, your object or your product is looking right, if there's any changes they'd like you to make, or if you're working on different color schemes and how this is going to look in different settings. Now you can see on the bottom here, I've got the environments library open, so that's simply the tab to the right of the appearances. And one cool thing I thought was that there was just such a large variety of environments available built directly into Onshape. So you can place your mug, in our case, in any of these scenes by simply right-clicking on one and choosing apply lighting or apply lighting and background. So you can apply the background instantly into your scene here. And now we can pan around. You can see that there's a countertop over here. So we're going to try and find that. Or maybe you'd like to place your object in another environment, simply dragging it up, or choosing the right click and apply lighting and background is going to change this up right away. Now, by hitting the library here, you can look through the different categories that there are available. You can also just scroll through the main list. So once you've found an environment or scene you like, I've got the hotel room one here. You can then go into the options in the left menu here and change up any of your environment settings. This can include, say, the scale, rotation, and placement of the ground. You can also change the type or mode, as it's called, right here, from infinity to, say, ground. That's going to place you down on the ground, sphere, or box, depending on the display you want, and this is going to wrap that environment around your object. Now in our case, this actually doesn't look too bad. You can actually see the shadows here already on the table, and you can use the middle mouse button. Clicking that down on your object is going to allow you to drag it around as well as scale it in and out, or bigger or smaller. Now, say you want to render this scene and export out an image, you can simply click the drop down button up here and render to Onshape, which is going to create a new tab with your render, or render it to disk, which would be saving it to your home computer. You're also going to want to save your scenes, so I'm just going to click save scene here. We're just going to call it mug in hotel, and that gives you a quick reference when you want to come back later on if you ever need to. Saving that is going to save this into your cloud storage on your Onshape account, and then we're free to close your browser or come back another time. Now let's render this out and just see how fast this is on any hardware, because you're not using your actual hardware, you're using Onshape's cloud processing. We're going to keep all the settings kind of to the default here, but we'll turn the quality up to production level just to see how fast this is. It's going to choose to just keep the view I've got, which we haven't set up. I haven't even changed the field of view, which you can do to give a better view of, say, the room in our case, or the environment you've chosen. Clicking render is going to start that process, and it's going to be completed in just seconds. Now, this is regardless of the speed of your computer, which saves you having to purchase any high-end hardware. This can be run and used on not only a phone with Android or Apple, but also tablets as well. You can see this one at highest quality, completed in 16 seconds. Now, closing this window is going to show you that you've got a new tab down at the bottom here, which is where your rendered out image. Now, this image is kind of zoomed in, so you can see it's a little bit blurry. But by tweaking and setting some of the camera settings, you can get a much better quality image, as well as use your own custom images as the background. Maybe you'd like to use your own desk and mock up how things are going to look and lay out on that. You can definitely do that as well. Now, that's just a quick overview of how the Render Studio works and some of its capabilities. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it, and I highly recommend checking out Onshape. You can get a free trial of the Pro version by using the link up above or down below right now. And I want to thank Onshape for sponsoring this video series. I've really enjoyed using the software, and I know I'm going to continue using it for my modeling projects. I think you guys should check it out and try it as well. If you've got any questions, don't forget to leave them down in the comments below. Let me know what you guys would like to see in the next video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button. Cheers and have a great day. Bye.